Okay, in this video we're going to demonstrate some pattern of life improvements in MACE 2017 R1. In particular, I want to show you how we've used the new Buttonized script capability in MACE to generate some pattern of life buttonized scripts. And everything I'm about to show you, these are things that you can do on your own. You can copy this design pattern. You can create new buttonized scripts for additional pattern of life type behaviors. This is just meant to be a starting point, and really the limit is just your own creativity. What I have in this mission is I have added some DIS entities, some MACE entities using the mission builder. I've added them as cultural features, and then I've given them labels just for the purposes of the video, so you can see that I have some cafes and some offices and a church. And in particular, the way that we have tagged those is with a new property on our object model called tags. And this is where you can give entities one or more string descriptors that you can then refer to in your script editor for the purposes of doing things like this easy pattern of life generation. So what we've done is we've created some buttonized scripts such as go to lunch, which would go to, for example, a cafe that would be recognized in the script as a location, a random house, so these houses, and then we also have some that aren't instant. They're within a period of time. That is to make it look more natural when your mission is executing. So for example, go to work within 5 minutes. So any one of these offices would be a valid location, but of course I wouldn't want all of my entities that I selected to immediately proceed to work all at the same time, because that wouldn't look natural. So for example, I will run this mission and I'll do a group select on all of these entities that are in this hotel, and I will tell all of them to go to work within 5 minutes. And we'll just kind of keep our eyes on this as the mission executes while we proceed and do some other things. Actually, I can kind of tell already that one of these entities has already decided to go to this office. And I also want to point out that you see this entity is pathfinding through these buildings, these obstructions, around this embassy, and over to this office and into where it thinks the front door would be, which is the closest location based on where my entity is added. The closest location to the shapefile where my entity is. So for example, right here, this is the office. It has a bounding box, and as does the building itself inside the OpenStreetMap database. So I should point that out as well. All these outlines you see here for these buildings, this is from our OpenStreetMap database, which is really powerful and useful, because you can see as I zoom in, wherever I am here, I think I'm in Tashkent or some city, it actually tells me where there's a Burger King here, there's another restaurant here, and that's why I lined up my restaurants here along this little mall where you can go get food. So in fact, my cafes are all lined up where there are cafes in real life, and since all these buildings are geospecific from the OpenStreetMap database, these humans are walking around actual buildings that exist on planet Earth automatically. So I want to point that out again, that pathfinding out of a building and into a building while avoiding obstructions. That is a new feature in MACE 2017 R1. And now you can also see my second entity has hit his time trigger. While that's going on, I'll take one of these guys up here and we'll give him an instant command. I'll say go to a random house, and he will pathfind out of where he is and into one of those two houses. Meanwhile, I can tell this guy to go to lunch, and he will find a cafeteria and proceed pathfinding all the way. Meanwhile, back to my humans who are all in the hotel, they're all traveling to work as well. These two decided to go to the same office. I have two more humans in here from my original 5-minute time trigger, but you can see that this is a fast and easy way to populate your mission with buildings and other locations. They don't have to be buildings because you have the tag property here. You can apply it to anything. As an example of another pattern of life type behavior, I've got one called take cover. This is more combat oriented, but I could define cover locations in my mission, which could be assigned to an entity, for example, with no visual presence in your image generator. And then my trigger for that, instead of being time, could be a nearby detonation. And then my entities could go to locations where I've designated it as a cover location. So you see that your imagination is really the only thing that's limiting you at this point from creating detailed pattern of life type behaviors and buttonizing them for use in MACE. Also, I want to show you that when I right click on an entity now, I get this action drop down. These right here are buttonized scripts that I have assigned to a pattern of life template. And then I assigned that template to all my humans. This is all documented in the new MACE 2017 R1 User's Manual and is what you would want to do for when you created new buttonized scripts. You would add them most likely to your pattern of life action template, which would then be assigned to all of your humans. And that way you could quickly access those new buttons that you create during MACE while the mission is running.